Good morning, my dear aspirants. Today we are going to continue our international relations topic for General Studies Paper 2 Mains for Civil Services as well as for Group 1 Services. And this article is all about the current relationships between India and China. So this article is also useful for SSC background as well as Group 2, Group 3 services. So let's start our session. So today we are going to discuss about part 5 international relations, part 5 current relationships, friction, political South China Sea dispute. So in our previous classes, under current relationships, under friction relationship, under this political relationship, we discussed about one belt one road issue, and now the second topic is about South China Sea dispute. Let me explain what we discussed in our previous sessions. So this is our complete flow chart. So what topics we are going to cover in this? So in previous topic we covered current relationships, India China's current relationships, and under this we came across with this friction relationships, nothing but the areas of contention, and whereas this is areas of cooperation. So that in our current relationships with India and China, what are the friction relationships? That is nothing but areas of contention. And in this current relationship, what are the areas of cooperation? So in each of these, we will divide subtopics like political to education to military in both friction relationships and cooperation relationships. And under this friction relationship, first we discussed about the political strategies. And under this political strategies, today we are going to discuss about South China Sea dispute. In our previous class, previous session, we discussed about one belt, one road, guys. So please watch that video and next come to South China Sea dispute. So please remember this complete article is about international relations. Under international relations, we divided international relations into three parts, and under these three parts, this is the first part, Indian neighbors. Under neighbors, India China. Under India China, current relationships. Under current relationships, the friction relationships. Under friction, first one is the political strategies. Under political, the first topic was about one belt one road, and now we are going to discuss about South China Sea dispute, and in the same way we will cover all these topics, right? So let's start our South China Sea dispute. So write about South China Sea dispute. So please do remember the Indians and the Chinese civilizations are both are ancient civilizations but different in their approaches, right? So in India's civilization, it can be understood as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the world is one family, whereas in Chinese way of thinking, it is referred as Chong Hu. Please do remember the word Chong Hu, Chungwo, which means Middle Kingdom or Middle Country. Is that they are the center of the world and everything else revolves around them. So there is a very differences in their approaches, whereas in India's approach is different from the Chinese approach. India's approach is nothing but Vasudevya Kutumbakam, whereas Chinese approach is Chong U, right? So in this regard, we are going to discuss about South China Sea dispute, right? So first, we should observe the South China Sea location. Please observe here very carefully. This is Andaman Sea. From there, you can observe here the Strait of Malacca, and from here you can observe this Java Sea, and now the Gulf of Thailand, and from here the complete South China Sea starts. Complete South China Sea starts. And from here you can observe this Luzon Strait. Here Sulu Sea. So these all are boundaries of South China Sea. So please do remember, South China Sea is a marginal sea of Pacific Ocean. Please do remember, guys, this is very important bit for SSC, guys. Pacific Ocean, right? So this Philippine Sea, this South China Sea, this Celebes Sea, these all are the part of the marginal sea of a Pacific Ocean, right? So please do remember, these Philippine Sea, this South China Sea, this Sulu Sea, this Celebes Sea, these all are part of marginal seas of Pacific Ocean. South China Sea, it is a South China Sea, east and south of Vietnam, west of the Philippines, and north of the island of Brunei. Please observe here, South China Sea, which is on east and south of Vietnam, whereas west of Philippines and north of Malaysia, as well as Brunei, as well as this Malaysia. It is connected by Taiwan Strait with the East China Sea and by Luzon Strait with the Philippine Sea. Please do observe here. What is this strait? Luzon Strait. Please do remember, this is Luzon Strait and this is South China and this is Philippine Sea. And over it you can observe here the East China Sea. So the South China Sea, if you want to enter from South China Sea to Philippine Sea, you need to cross Luzon Strait. And if you want to enter from South China Sea to East China Sea, then from here, please observe here, this is Taiwan Strait. This is Taiwan Strait. So from South China Sea to East China Sea, you need to enter from Taiwan Strait, whereas from South China Sea to Philippine Sea, you need to enter from Luzon Strait. Bounding states and territories clockwise from north. So please observe here. So South China Sea's north is China, and now we will come in clockwise direction. Clockwise direction. So from China, next will be the Taiwan country. Next will be the Philippines. Next will be the Malaysia. Next will be this Brunei. Next will be the Indonesia. Next will be the Singapore. Next will be the Vietnam as well as Malaysia. Right? And what is the strategic importance? This sea holds tremendous strategic importance for its location, as it is connecting link between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Please observe here, this Andaman Sea. Please observe here, this Andaman Sea is a marginal sea of Indian Ocean, whereas this South China Sea is a part of Pacific Ocean, marginal sea of Pacific Ocean. So this Strait of Malacca plays a very important role to add this Indian Ocean and this Pacific Ocean. And according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, 1/3 of the global shipping passes through it. Please observe very carefully, guys, here. According to United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, said that one-third of the global shipping passes through it, carrying trillions of trade, which makes it a significant geopolitical water body. So if you observe the location of this South China Sea, it almost plays a very important role by connecting Indian Ocean to Pacific Ocean, right? And this is surrounded by the most developed countries like China and remaining powerful countries like Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam. So it is a very important location, strategic location. So if any country from India, from Indian side, if they want to and enter and reach up to the South Korea, North Korea, Japan, they need to cross the South China Sea. Please observe here. From India, we will enter into Myanmar. From Myanmar into Thailand, Malaysia and Indonesia, Strait of Malacca, from here Singapore, and from here we will enter into South China Sea, next Philippine Sea, or we may enter from here the East China Sea. Next we will enter to South Korea, and from there we can enter into Japan. So this is our important trade route. So according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, one-third of the global shipping passes through it. Is it clear to everyone? And what are the reasons of dispute? Please observe here. The countries which claims in the South China Sea. Please observe here. This red country is nothing but China. This blue one is Vietnam, and this light color blue one is Taiwan, pink one is Philippines, green one is Malaysia, and this orange one is Brunei. So these all countries involved in the conflict regarding South China Sea islands. Please observe here. Here it is written Paracel Islands, Scarborough Shovel Islands, and Sparkly Islands. These islands are in conflict, right? So what are those countries which are in conflict in South China Sea? China, Taiwan, Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam. So let's start it. Claims over islands. As here we discussed here, please observe here, this Paracels nothing but these 6 islands. So this is complete China, right? So this blue dotted line, if you observe very carefully, what is this blue dotted line? It is nothing but exclusive economic zone. It means from the coast, till 200 nautical miles towards the ocean is called exclusive economic zone. So from coast till 200 nautical miles towards the ocean is called exclusive economic zone. If any islands come under this exclusive economic zone, then the countries have right to dredge it, to generate economy from it. But if any islands are out of this exclusive economic zone, then countries has no right to generate money from these islands. So this is the main conflict area. So each and every country which are under UNO should follow this United Nations Convention Law of Seas Act, which was introduced in 1982. Please to remember, United Nations Convention Law of Seas introduced in 1982. Nothing but exclusive economic zone. So here, according to the UNCLOS, out of 6 paracels, 4 paracels belongs to China, and 1 paracel belong to Vietnam, and another one is under protected area. So this China should dredge from these 4 paracel islands only. Whatever the oil which is generated from these paracel islands, only 4 are under China, whereas 1 is under Vietnam and another one is under protected area. So China doesn't have any right to dredge to generate economy from this island and as well as in this Vietnam island. But what this China is saying, we are not going to listen about this UNCLOS 200 1982 exclusive economic zone. We don't accept this. We will accept our own 9 dash line. So please observe here how many red lines are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is nothing but China's claim line. Another name of it is China's 9 dash line. So this is the major conflict. The disputes involves the like islands, reefs, banks, right, and the various boundaries apart from this Gulf of Tonkin. So these are further disputes such as these waters near the Indonesian Natuna Islands, which many do not regard as the part of the South China Sea. Claimant states that are interested in retaining or acquiring the right to fishing stocks, the exploration and the potential exploitation of crude oil and natural gases in this seabed of various parts of the South China Sea. Right? So what are those islands? Parcels, Spartleys, and Scarborough. The Parcel Islands are claimed by China, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Spratly Islands are claimed by China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Brunei, and Philippines. Scarborough Shoal is claimed by Philippines, China, and Taiwan. I think it is very, very clear regarding this. And what about the China's play? Please observe here. Since 2010, China has been converting uninhabited islets into artificial islets to bring it under UNCLOS. Examples would include Haven Reef, Johnson South Reef, and Fairy Cross Reef, which are a part of these Spratly Islands. China has been changing the size and structure of the reefs by modifying their physical land features. It has also established 8 stripes on parcel and spartleys. Chinese fishing fleets are engaged in paramilitary work on behalf of the state rather than the commercial enterprise of fishing. The US is very critical of this building of artificial islands and terms these actions of China as building a great wall of sand. And from 2013, the PRC has restored it to island building in Spratly Islands and Parcel Islands. According to Reuters, island building in the South China Sea, primarily by Vietnam and the Philippines, has been going on for decades. And while China has come late to island building, and its efforts have been on an unprecedented scale, as it had formed 2014 to 16 constructed more and more new island surface than all other nations having constructed throughout the history in this South China Sea. Please do remember, in 2019, article came in Voice of America that compared China and Vietnam's island building campaign in South China Sea. Similarly noted that reason why Vietnam, in contradiction to China, has been subjected to little international criticism. And please do remember, guys, this is a very, very important point. USA's point of view. So, what this USA is telling this issue is nothing but the third party claims. Please observe here. South China Sea crisis, US versus Chinese military based map. Please observe here the China's sphere of influences, China's occupied islands shown here, right? And whereas split allegiances, these are the other countries who are affected by this China, and this blue one is USA's sphere of influences. Lumbia Air Base, Macchen Bento Eborn Air Base, Antonio Bautza Air Base, Basa Air Base, Fort Maxese. These are all the air bases of US. So now US is coming up with new for policy, new policy in President Trump's administration. The new US strategy is to be unpredictable and deploy ships to the areas without any notice. And from July 2020, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has declared China's claims and coercions of in parts of South China Sea is completely unlawful. And now on 26th August 2020, the US sanctioned individuals and 24 Chinese companies linked to construction and militarization of the artificial islands. Right? What is the China's point of view? China's list claims nearly all of the South China Sea, including the paracels. However, Taiwan, Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, and Vietnam also claim parts of the region believed to hold valuable oil and gas deposits. It has allegedly that the USA warship broke into China's Paracel Islands territorial waters without the permission of Chinese government and accused USA for seriously violating China's sovereignty and harming regional peace. So in USA's point of view, whereas in China's point of view, are completely different. So here the affecting countries are these Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines. So these two countries are fighting from both sides. But what will be the result? Because China's artificial islands now becoming into uninhabited islands, the China's uninhabited islands now became into artificial islands. So now China is saying that from these artificial islands we are employing China's EEZ. So then there will be a contradiction for the US, right? So if you observe the China's assets sovereignty over the South China Sea in historical concept and claims almost the entire sea as it's a sovereign territory because it has a building artificial islands. Please do remember the uninhabited islands in this sparkly are now converted into artificial islands. So from this EEZ will be applied. The Chinese military has also set up radars, deployed missiles and missile launchers, warplanes on islands and reefs. Also, China constructed several and artificial islands in the sea, including the Mischief Reef, which has a harbor and airfield. Please do remember, guys. Which of the following? Please do remember, guys. You may get question. Which of the following reef is recently converted into an harbor and airfield? Answer should be Mischief. Please to remember Mischief Reef. And in 2019, China deployed an operational airship known as an aerostat in the disputed Mischief Reef, strengthening its reconnaissance ability in the South China Sea and monitoring activities. So from these activities, US and other Southeast Asians declared that China is building a maritime empire. So let's see what is our India's point of view. India, please observe here. So we need to enter into this Strait of Malacca. From there, South China Sea. From there, you will enter into East China Sea, and from there you will reach South Korea and Japan. Is it clear? So this is our route. So India, from India, if we want to reach to North South Korea or Japan, this is our route. The South China plays a very important role. So if complete South China is occupied by this China, then we cannot reach South Korea and South Korea and Japan in this format, in this way. We need to pay high toll taxes to these Chinese. So it is the best time to support Vietnam, Philippines, but we should not indulge in their wars. So the same statement was given by India, that India's want to keep the sea lanes open in the South China Sea as a half of its sea trade passes through it. India has been expanding its naval reach from the Arabian Sea to the South China Sea through various naval exercises like India and Myanmar, India and Thailand, India and Malaysia, India and Indonesia, India and the Philippines, India and Vietnam, India and Cambodia, India and Thailand, India and Taiwan, India and South Korea, India and Japan. These are naval exercises. So by conducting these naval exercises, we are increasing our power. And in 2004, India tried to project its blue water capability by deploying 5 of its frontline warships in the South China Sea as a display of its capabilities and outreach, especially with Japan, Vietnam. India's deepening ties with the littoral states of the South China Sea. Coming to the Southeast Asians, nothing but Asian group. We have a very good political strategies with Asian group, ASEAN, Association of Southeast Nations. So the Southeast Asian countries encourage joint maritime exercises with India. India has a strong navy and technologically capabilities that can be leveraged by the Asian group. And at Vietnam's request, the most affected one, the Vietnam request, India opposes oil exploration of China in this sea. So we supported Vietnam. Please do remember, Vietnam is a very important country for India. So now Vietnam is in trouble. So India should support Vietnam. But keeping one thing in mind, we should not play a direct contradict role, whereas we should play a diplomatic strategies role. Is it clear? So now Vietnam's request, our Indian government opposes exploration of oil from the South China Sea by China. And Beijing, with this act, China, Beijing, China capital, Beijing, this China wants India to stay away from the South China Sea as it affects their sovereignty. So further, however, China's increasing ability to decide and expand its role in South China Sea has compelled India to reevaluate its approach on the issue. And as a key element of activist policy, India has started internationalizing disputes in this Indo-Pacific regions to oppose China's threatening tactics in this South China Sea. And further, India is also using Buddhist legacy to make a strong bond with the Southeast Asian region, which is a second plan. So whatever it may be, India has a very good relations with this Asian group. So with the help of this Asian group, we may contradict this China. So let's hope everything will be going good regarding South China Sea dispute. And in this lecture, we discussed about areas of contention regarding South China Sea dispute. And in previous class, we discussed about areas of contention regarding friction political regarding one belt, one road. So there are two areas of contentions, nothing but the friction, the political frictions between India and China. The first one is one belt, one road, and second one is South China Sea dispute. So thank you. This is KCR signing off.